You are worth so much more than being in a toxic relationship. If you're new here, hi, I'm Anna. Welcome to my channel where we explore the depths of our minds, bodies, and souls, and the depths of the universe in order to expand to our fullest potential. If you found this video today and you're with me, you are meant to be here. Whether you just left a toxic relationship, whether you're trying to get out of one, whether you have a loved one in this situation, you are meant to be here and listen, to take insights. I normally take notes for my videos, but in this video, I just want to speak freely. I just want everything to just flow naturally. So that is what I'm going to do. We are going to have this conversation together. First, I would like to explain what I've been through. When I was about 18, 19, I got into my first serious relationship, and it was very toxic. I was very naive and weak-minded. Therefore, I was easy to manipulate, easy to gaslight. Anything with mental abuse, I probably experienced it. I wouldn't say I experienced physical abuse too much. However, there was some things that were considered physically abusive, and there were many times where I tried to break up with this person, and every single time they tried to guilt me to stay with them by telling me that they would unalive themselves if I wouldn't stay with them. There was a point where I was so close to being free. And then when I left this person, I found a lot of things on their phone. Also, another thing, I moved to a whole nother state for this person. So going back, I found a lot of things on their phone that I didn't like. I knew if I had this conversation in person with them that they would get me to stay. So instead, what I did while they were sleeping, I packed up what I needed and I got on a Greyhound back to my home state. And I sent them photos of what I saw on their phone and how it's pretty much over. And then I did still continue to talk with him, not in a romantic way, but in more of a, oh, I just want to make sure this person is okay kind of way. And eventually he pulled that trick again of him saying, I can't do this anymore, I can't be without you, I'm gonna unalive myself. So I went back. If you're dealing with someone who's trying to guilt you into thinking that you're responsible for their life, know that you are not responsible for their life. The actions that they choose to take have to do with them and nothing to do with you. If they tell you this, say, okay, I'm calling this hotline for you, they're on the way. It's not your fault if they do it. And 99, I'm almost like 100% sure that they're not going to actually do it. They're just saying that to lure you back in. So have that self-awareness. We stayed long distance. I visited him once, and then I was like, you need to start putting in work. If you can't make the effort to make the trip to come see me, this is just gonna be long distance. So it was long distance for months. After a while, I noticed how we started drifting apart. We weren't as connected. But in my head, I fell in love again. I know. I was naive. That's okay. We learn from our experiences. So I'm falling in love again. So I see that there's still potential. I applied to cosmetology school out there. I got accepted. And I'm like, we're gonna become more connected once I actually move back there. I had this idea that we should do van life to like save more money. So I bought this big SUV that could barely drive because I was like new to driving. but I got it because I saw that potential. And then 2 weeks before I was going to move there, he's like, I think I should wait. Keep in mind that I was gonna start school a little bit after those 2 weeks, or I think maybe 2 weeks. I don't really remember because it was a while ago. This was like maybe 3-4 years ago. I'm 25 now. I think this ended when I was like 21, 22. So then eventually, I'm not sure what happened. It's hard to like memorize all this because it happened really fast. But after that, we drifted even more apart, and then there was this conversation. I don't remember exactly what was said, but we pretty much ended things. And it's crazy how my like psychic abilities kicked in right before this, because before that happened, I had this dream of us like hanging out and then him getting in a car and waving goodbye. I'm like, wow, that's crazy. Anyway, so that happens, and then it just ended like that. And then 2 weeks later, I was not okay with it ending like that. So I reached out and I'm like, I can't let it end this way. I need like more closure. So I got that. And then we became, neutral with each other. Like he would randomly text me just to check up on me. And then since we were texting on Instagram, he came up as suggested follow. So I go on his page, I go on the first person I see, and then I see he has a new girlfriend. And then I go to her profile, and I see how she made a post about how they were in love when it was only 2 weeks after we broke up. Like, there's no way you fall in love that fast. So he had a whole other girlfriend while he was with me. And that was not even my last straw. I guess I'm talking about my experience. I didn't think I was gonna go in full depth, but I guess I'm going to full depth. Then I found out she became pregnant. And when I found that out, I felt my body drain of like all emotions, and I completely went numb. Because I knew that because of that, there was no chance of us working out. Now, is it crazy for me to think that I should ever even have worked it out with him? Sure it is, but I was blinded by love. I was strongly manipulated. I was mentally screwed up because of him. And today I was doing a love workshop to do deeper self-reflection. Now in this workshop today, they had us ask ourselves what situations in my past are influencing the present. And they wanted us to reframe this and see this in a place of like light, like what did we learn? So with that being said, I'm going to get into how this relationship actually made me into a better person. And I'm also going to go over like how to kind of like get out of this as well. It may be all over the place because I'm speaking freely and I'm not having anything scripted. Not that if I were to script something it would be fake, it's just like, you know, it's more free, more flowing, more connected, I feel. So what I've learned from that relationship is that I really need to work on setting boundaries and not letting people cross them out of self-love for myself. This also has to do with falling in love with myself. This is why people stress how you really do need to love yourself before you get into a relationship. Even if you may think you love yourself, but do you love yourself fully enough to be strong about your boundaries? Do you love yourself enough to not settle for less? Do you love yourself enough to not ignore red flags, even if it's a small red flag? And that also has to do with self-respect. From being in this toxic relationship, I later on learned how to fall in love with myself again. I learned how to put the focus on me rather than others. I learned how to put myself on the pedestal. The way my relationship ended where it just like had to end. Like, he pretty much ended it. So my advice to someone who is just like ready to end that is to come back to yourself, center yourself, ask yourself, what are you worthy of? Start practicing self-love and self-respect for yourself. Know that you are worthy of so much more. You are capable of so much more. If you're currently in a situation where you can't leave because you're dependent on them, my recommendation to you is to leave that relationship mentally and secretly make moves on to leave this person. However you can do that, like, I don't know, get a job, start saving, come up with a side hustle so you can start saving and just move out and get an apartment. And once you get that apartment, be like, hey, I can't do this anymore, it's over. Or maybe you can call a friend, family, asking them, hey, can I stay here until I get back on my feet? This person is really toxic. Can you please help me? It's okay to ask for help. There's even shelters that help with these things. What's going to help you the most is inner work and healing. Practicing self-love, self-care, asking yourself questions, doing shadow work, so you can get a deeper understanding of why you're continuing to stay. Do you have an attachment style you need to heal? Maybe because of certain things you experienced in your childhood. And ask yourself, do I really deserve this? Or do I think this is just what reality is? And start to tell yourself that I deserve way more. I deserve everything in my checklist, you know? Like that perfect person checklist. You deserve someone who can give you the same love that you give others. You're worth so much more, and you shouldn't let the other person dim your light. You're meant to shine bright. Was that corny? Whether it was or not, it's the truth. You're a diamond. You deserve way more than being with someone who is toxic to you. With being in toxic relationships, especially ones that are mentally abusive, if you're weak-minded, that's another thing to keep in mind, is to, how would I word that? Strengthen your mind. Be more mindful. There's this book called The Power. Now, I haven't read it, but I want to. I've heard it's pretty much about ways people can manipulate you and like how to manipulate things. And I don't want you to read that coming from a place, oh, I'm going to manipulate people. You want to read that so you can be in awareness of how people can do it to you. The reason I feel like it can be so hard to leave someone who is manipulating you is because they can easily get in your head and plant beliefs that aren't true. Beliefs such as you not being worthy enough. Beliefs as you're not going to get anyone better than me. Beliefs that do not resonate with who you really are. What this person is saying to you, this toxic person, that is only a reflection of them. And I'm sorry, I keep forgetting to look directly at the camera, so my eyes look crazy. I apologize. But I just felt really called to make this video. So whoever sees this, I love you. And just know you are safe, you are protected, and you have the ability to leave. It may not happen overnight, and that's completely okay. But take baby steps at the bare minimum. Take baby steps into finding ways to leave this. If it's something where like you have an intuitive feeling where you feel like they're cheating but you need the proof, pray. There was 3 times, and now I'm not religious, but when I speak and pray from God, I see God as energy source. Whatever you see your higher power as, pray to that. I would say, God, please show me a sign that they're not the one. Show me a sign that they're cheating. And every single time they would. I was like, I just need like another sign because they keep trying to get in my head. If you're here because you already left this toxic relationship, or also you want to know what to do once you leave this toxic relationship, here's some advice I have for you. Number one thing is to completely feel your feelings. Feel everything until you don't feel it anymore. Because if you try to push them away, if you try to cope them and hide them, mask them by smoking, drinking, doing any sort of thing just so you don't feel it, you're only hurting yourself. Because those feelings are just going to continue to show up. And you want to leave this relationship to become a better you. And if you're going to mask your feelings, you're going to stray away and prolong the process of that. For example, for me, what I did was I was relying on the green. I'm not sure what I can say here on YouTube. So I would smoke my feelings away. And then eventually I just had to sit with my feelings. And I noticed because I did that, since I didn't feel them all in that very moment, when I would think I felt them all, there was actually still more left. And it took a while for me to like heal from this fully because of that. If you don't completely feel these feelings, they're gonna continue to show up. And with it being buried inside of you, you may react to certain situations from this because you weren't able to express and feel that. For example, let's say something small upsets you and you're like, why did that upset me so much? Those feelings from that toxic person that you didn't let yourself feel may be coming up. So that's an important thing that I recommend doing. Take as long as you need. Another thing I recommend is to start a gratitude and affirmation journal. Minimum of 3 things. What I kept it very simple because I was very hurt. I didn't have that much energy. I would say I am healthy. I am worthy. I am beautiful inside and out. That is something I needed to say to like, I guess, gain that confidence back as well. For gratitude, I would say I am grateful that I am now free from this relationship. That was like something that made me feel like very, I don't know, enlightened in a way. The word free, knowing that I'm just like free, I don't have to suffer anymore. I'll say I'm grateful that I am now safe. I am grateful that I am no longer suffering. So practicing self-care, find things that bring you joy. What helped me bring me joy and help me feel better was to get ready every single day. Even when I was hurting, every single day, I would do a full glam of makeup. And I would make TikTok videos. I would see how pretty I was, not to sound like, but I have self-love and self-confidence for myself. I would just pretty much fully take care of myself and do everything that would overall make me feel good. Some of those things were being healthy, having a healthy diet, not eating all this junk food. Because eating junk food is just going to make you feel worse. If you eat things that are good for your body, you're going to feel better. I would work out because that made me feel better. Not only did it make me feel better about myself, but it made me feel better energetically. A morning practice that I started was I would meditate first thing in the morning and I would set intentions. Now I know it can be so hard when you leave this toxic relationship to like jump in right away to these healthy habits. Did I jump in right away? It probably took me 2 weeks. And that even sounds like a short period of time, especially considering that was a 3-year relationship. But something that really helped me in the morning after my meditation, I would set intentions. I don't know what's so powerful about this, but I would set the intention on all the things I wanted to do that day, even if it was small. So I would set the intention that I would be healthy. I would set the intention that I would work out, and I would set the intention that I would get ready for the day. It may sound simple, but it's very powerful. Sometimes the simple things in life become the most life-changing. I also advise that you spend time with people who you love. I feel like some of the times when we get out of toxic relationships, we just want to isolate ourselves, we want to be our own bubble. And that's okay to do for a short amount of time. I would say like a week or 2 max, because you don't want to get stuck in that. It takes 21 days to form a habit. Keep that in mind. So don't do anything longer than 21 days if it's not serving you. Just know that you are deserving of happiness. You are deserving of respect. You are deserving of worthiness. I think that's all I feel called to share today. Remember, you are capable of so much more than you think. Till next time, namaste.